Good morning, and thank you for joining me as we quickly approach the 6th month of our COVID journey. Admittedly, Team Savannah is feeling refreshed, revived, and reinvigorated after we've received some major love and support from our neighbors over 800 miles away. We were elated to welcome New York State Governor Mario, that's his father, Andrew Cuomo, and a talented team of New Yorkers to Savannah yesterday to show us what winning looks like, what success looks like, what partnership looks like, what friendship looks like, and what leadership looks like. When you want to win, you connect with winners. Detractors can say what they want, but there is no disputing the success of New York State in fighting and defeating coronavirus. New York State has gone from worst to first by using a measured approach based on data, metrics, and by following the science. It should be noted that New York was the first state in the country to mandate masks on April the 15th, 2020, and we know that masks do work. Governor Andrew Cuomo announced that New York State will work with us in establishing 2 testing sites in COVID-19 hotspots here in Savannah. The Temple of Glory Community Church, Bishop Matthew Odom, pastor, and the Kingdom Life Christian Fellowship, Dr. Charles Roberson, pastor, are our initial sites, and they will conduct up to 500 tests a day. Kingdom Life Christian Fellowship is located at 425 West Montgomery Crossroads, and the Temple of Glory Community Church is located at 1105 Stiles Avenue at the entrance of the Carver Village community. Both sites are located in and are accessible to highly impacted minority communities. The sites are being created with expertise and resources from Somos Community Care and Northwell Health of New York. As a result of our partnership and through the generosity of Governor Cuomo and the fine people of New York State, we have received and have in hand 124,000 surgical masks, 7,500 BTM test kits, 7,500 gowns, 11,500 gloves, 7,500 N95 masks, 7,500 face shields, 2.5 pallets of styrofoam coolers, and 1,250 gallons of hand sanitizer. I again want to thank Governor Cuomo and the team of medical providers he sent to Savannah for showing their love for our community through actions rather than words. Ladies and gentlemen, Savannah is at a crossroads. We have no chance of flattening the curve, no chance of getting ahead of COVID-19 without drastic changes. From mid-March to the end of June, confirmed cases of COVID-19 totaled 1,300 in only 109 days. 1,300 in 109 days. In the last 20 days, confirmed cases have totaled 2,193. 2/3 of all cases during the pandemic have occurred in the past 3 weeks. Think about that. 2/3 of all cases during this pandemic have occurred in the past 3 weeks. On July 1st, hospitalized COVID-19 cases totaled 61. As of yesterday, hospitalized COVID cases totaled 152, which is a 149% increase in 3 weeks. So for those who think this is going away, for those who think that we're getting better, the data is absolutely clear. As of today, a total of 68 City of Savannah team members have been diagnosed with COVID-19, including 33 police officers and 10 firefighters. Chatham County case counts are increasing faster than other areas of Georgia. 2 weeks ago, Chatham County ranked 15th in Georgia in total cases and 130th in rates per 100,000. Now, Chatham County ranks 7th in total cases and 81st in rates per 100,000. So 2 weeks ago, we went from 15 to 7 in Georgia, and we went from 130 to 81. And the spread rate is quickening. In the past 2 weeks, the Coastal Health District's testing site has averaged a 15% positive test rate of those tested. And these are the citizens who are healthy enough to drive and wait in line. Not only healthy enough, but they have to have a car. According to the Savannah Safer Services Reopening Plan, the 14-day rolling average needed to reach a benchmark of 6 to move to phase 2. Yesterday, the 14-day rolling average was 114. Every single zip code in our community, other than Tybee Island, has at least doubled in confirmed counts. Every single zip code. This is serious. It's getting worse. People are being hospitalized, and now even our young people are now experiencing the severe and devastating effects of COVID-19. I was particularly touched by a young lady that I've had the opportunity to meet, Lindsay Goff, a reporter with WTOC who is only 27 years old. She was hospitalized for weeks with a lot of complications. As many of you know now, that Lindsay is openly sharing her story on Twitter, and she's documenting issues from shortness of breath to conditions far more serious. And so we keep Lindsay in our collective thoughts and prayers. So Lindsay's story is proof that our young adults are not only super spreaders, their lives are also being impacted. Their lives are also in danger. Across the country, we've seen folks gone wild. Parties with reckless abandon of caution. Folks living their best lives, no mask, no social distancing, and they are literally killing the communities that they live in. For the folks here in Savannah, that absolutely will not be tolerated. And we need to make that clear. Absolutely will not be tolerated. And we will close down any establishment that we feel poses a public risk. And we want to make that clear. So it becomes a simple proposition. If you want this to end at some point, you wear a mask. If you don't want it to end or you don't care, then don't be surprised at the result that you end up with. Let me also make something else absolutely clear. The city of Savannah is still under an emergency declaration that requires the use of masks. And we will be under that declaration until further notice. This emergency declaration is enforceable and is being enforced. And there is and should be no confusion about that. If you are in a public space and you do not have a mask on, be prepared to be offered a mask or be ticketed and fined. We can no longer play around with compliance. Our city must stand together, we must collectively follow guidelines, and we must together beat back COVID-19. It's been said by the CDC that if everyone wore masks for 4 to 6 weeks, we would make a significant dent in our fight against COVID-19. And we know that cities and states that have had mask mandates, they have been able to stop the spread. That's when you're able to catch up. Also, we're pleased to announce that there is a vaccine study for COVID-19 being conducted by Meridian. If you want to participate in that, you can do so by calling 912-623-2240. 912-623-2240. If you're eligible, you may receive compensation for your participation. Space in the study is limited, so again, the number is 912-623-2240. In other news, our numbers for census participation is slowly, and I say slowly, creeping up, but not creeping up fast enough. Strangely enough, our COVID numbers are creeping up faster than our census numbers. That has to change. I need you, I need your families, I need our friends, we need Savannah to stand strong, we need everyone to be counted. If we want the resources from the federal government that we're going to need, we need you to go to my2020census.gov and fill yours out today, my2020census.gov. Again, if you get tired of me talking about it, then shut me up by going to my2020census.gov and making sure you're counted. Also, early voting started yesterday, and again, we know of the problems we had with our voting process. I'm encouraging people to please vote early. Please vote absentee, but get it done. Do not wait until election day to put yourself in a situation like we experienced a couple of weeks ago. It makes no sense, particularly when you have the means to be able to do it early, and you have the means to do it absentee. So again, we're strongly encouraging people. I'm filling out mine today to make sure that they're counted. There are very important seats that must be filled, and we need to make sure that the will of the people who vote are adequately reflected. So we're asking you, please, to go ahead and vote, and there are a variety of ways you can do that. And finally, we ask that you join us on this Thursday at 10 o'clock a.m. as we have another edition this week to Savannah's ever-expanding table. I'm excited about that because we are doing what we said we were going to do. And the COVID situation has allowed us the time and the focus to be able to have these crucial and courageous conversations, for us to get people engaged and involved, and for us to expand this table. So on this Thursday at 10 o'clock a.m., we will officially launch Savannah's Racial Equity and Leadership Task Force. And again, I'm elated and honored that former Mayor Dr. Otis Johnson, a noted social scientist, will be assisting us in leading this effort. So that's Thursday at 10 o'clock a.m. So that ends my prepared remarks, and I will be willing to entertain any questions you may have. So Emma is always first, Sean is always last. Okay.
Yeah, no kidding. Come on, guys. My question for you this morning, well, good morning, Mr. Mayor. My question for you is, since the governor came out last week about the whole that municipalities can't have their own mask law, has the city gotten any blowback from anybody about when police officers have been out enforcing the mask mandate here in Savannah?
Sure. I mean, as a matter of fact, I went out on River Street myself last week, and I was out giving out masks. And people would tell me, well, the governor said. I said, well, I said. And when I told them who I was, they took the mask, they put the mask on. Again, and that's why it's so important for us to talk in a united voice, because people get confused. And this is not only in Savannah, this is in cities across the state. We know that masks work. And I don't know what the hard part of this is. 30 states across the country mandate masks. Alabama mandates masks. South Carolina and Florida do not. However, they leave it up to local municipalities to mandate masks if they see fit. Georgia is the only state in the union that has specifically said that cities cannot mandate masks. In my opinion, in our legal opinion, in the opinion of cities across the state, we feel that's overreach. We feel the governor does not have legal standing in this area, and so therefore we press on with our emergency declaration. Thank you. Good morning, ma'am.
So I'm going to piggyback off of Emma's question there. The debate, with some of, I guess, tourism leaders here is not over whether we should wear masks, but whether it needs to be mandated. That was the conversation I had with a couple of them yesterday. And they say some threatening, to shut down businesses who don't enforce masks may be, overstepping, and then that's why maybe the governor got involved. So do you think it's a lot to ask an already struggling business to enforce these types of things and have their employees, put themselves at risk in some cases, because we've seen around the country that sometimes it can get violent when people, don't want to wear masks and things like that. So what's your stance on that?
Absolutely. Remember when we were totally shut down. That's all I'll say. Corporate America has taken note. Every day, another corporate giant. Every day, folks are recognizing that science is absolutely clear. I meant what I said. This is how serious this is. I think when you're in an emergency situation, the words please don't work as well. Our numbers are skyrocketing. We are placing ourselves in a situation where ultimately our city might be closed for real. And so, I don't take back what I say. If there are businesses that are not complying, willfully not complying, we will consider them a public nuisance. And so that's where I am with it. And I don't make any apologies for protecting Savannah and their citizens. Every single day, I'm getting phone calls, emails, messages, people coming up to me that work in local businesses that are scared to death. They're saying, someone in my business has COVID. They're still making us work. We've had 3 people. They're still making us work. And the fact of the matter is that an emergency mandate eliminates the competition between businesses because everybody is doing the same thing. That is how Governor Cuomo has told us that they got in front of this. The question to our tourism partners is, how serious are you about getting through this? Are you playing short ball or are you playing long ball? And for us, it's about maintaining our viability today, but really making sure that we're viable tomorrow. And so I stand resolute in my insistence. I stand resolute on our enforcement. And I just think that people need to get with the program. This is where we are. We are worse now than we were when we had the emergency shutdown. And I don't think people understand that. When you look at our numbers today, really the emergency shutdown, the stay-at-home orders should be now, based on, if you just look at the data, because we're worse now than we were then. And I just hope that our businesses, and I've heard from many businesses thanking us for this, and I'm just hoping, and I've heard from many of our tourism partners, I'm just hoping people understand that this is serious, and again, this is where we are. This is a fight for Savannah's future. And I'm all in. And I expect and hope they'll be all in too.
And one more question that's a little off topic from COVID-19. Obviously you have officers out here enforcing the mask ordinance and things like that. I don't know if it's put thin or what. But yesterday, I was walking downtown after Governor Cuomo came and everything like that, and there was horse and buggies that were out, carrying people around. It was 90 degrees out, and I know the ordinance says, I believe it's 85 degrees, that they're supposed to be pulled off the street.
I believe it's a heat index.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So it was 90 degrees yesterday, and those horse and buggies were out there. So that's something maybe officers could take more note of, or.
Well, I mean, you're absolutely right. I'll have the city manager look into it. We are absolutely clear about our policy as it relates to carriage tours in Savannah. We've had some very hot, humid days. We look at a heat index, and when it reaches a certain point, horses are supposed to be pulled off the street. If they're not pulled off the street, the company is subject to a fine. And I want to make sure it's a 95-degree index. 95. Okay. So at the point that that's not occurring, we will make sure that it occurs. And thank you for learning me. I went into a Dollar General Sunday, and people walking through without masks. And so I'll be having a courageous conversation with the corporate folks at Dollar General. Again, we're not going to have businesses here putting the safety of their employees first and our citizens in danger. We're not going to have that.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My question for you is, I'm curious to know if you have spoken with Governor Kemp in the past week since he came out and made his, or made your mask mandate invalid.
No. Well, he attempted to invalidate our mask ordinance. We still have an emergency declaration. Probably since January the 30th of 2020, I've spoken to Governor Kemp 4 times. The first was the 30th of January in his office in Atlanta. One was the Saturday before the demonstration here in Savannah. The next one was the day of the demonstrations in Savannah. And then when he brought the chair of the Republican National Committee, I met him briefly at the Hyatt. Those are the only conversations I've had with the governor this year.
Another question for you, how many citations have you given out this past week?
I do not know. My expectation would be very little, if not any at all. Again, the goal here is compliance. I would rather us give it no ticket. Again, because people always see each other, we want people to wear masks. So if people will comply, if when an officer offers you a mask, you're willing to put it on, then we're fine. I think the challenge is that sometimes people play games. They do it in the officer's presence, and then they'll take it off. Obviously, if the officer does not see them, they can't make them comply. I've asked the city manager, the police chief, to step that up. I think that once we start issuing some citations, then I think people will really start getting the point for those who want to play those types of games. We also want to deploy some other resources into our streets, some more plainclothes, some from other staffs that can help us to kind of blitz our community.
Last question for you, the PPE that was brought down by New York yesterday, can you talk about how and where that's being distributed here?
Well, right now it's all in my office. No. We're going to have some conversations again. We brought together a very unique group here in Savannah. We were blessed to have our entire medical community, so to speak. We had Memorial Health, we had St. Joe's Candler, We had Curtis Cooper Primary Health. We had J.C. Lewis Primary Health. We had the president of the Georgia State Medical Association, and we also had an independent physician. And so what I did realize is that as a health community, we don't communicate as much. And so when we talk about distribution and how to distribute it, I want that to be a conversation, again, guided by science and guided by not only our needs. When you think about it, when we looked at particularly the some of the PPE, when we talk about 124,000 surgical masks, Savannah has 148,000 people. So they almost gave us our population. Again, this is a major opportunity for us to be able to assist our healthcare providers, those that are working in the fields, and so we'll have those conversations in the near future and figure out the best way to distribute. You can never have too much of it.
Morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Looking at the testing sites, I know the city put out on the Facebook page this morning some of the stipulations, folks wanting to take advantage of those two new testing sites here in town, that it's by appointment, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And you said they're identified in hotspots. Is that based on the data by zip code?
Partially. There were two considerations. One was we wanted to make sure, and again, we've had these tests occurring in the community already, but we want to really make it more data-driven. So these are really test runs for us. We wanted houses of faith that were located in or around communities. They had to have the space to be able to bring people in. This is not being done outside as many folks, we bringing people inside. And so once we're able to check, do these tests, check them out, see how it goes, it creates an opportunity for us now to be able to use these experiences to create other sites around the city. Then those ways we're able to use the data to look at where hotspots are and put them there. We recognize that people sometimes have different incentives for taking tests. And we realize that if we make it close to where they live, we recognize it's easier for people to do it. They feel more comfortable in doing it. Our partnership with our faith community is very clear. Members of our faith community have instant credibility with members of the city. And so if they're saying it, if we're putting them out front, that will help us as well to get the need, to emphasize the need of people being tested. We know the more testing we're doing, the more contact tracing we're doing, we're able to isolate it. The more isolation we're able to do, we're able to get in front of this.
Well, thank you for bringing up the contact tracing. I know part of the deal, part of this partnership is access to software that will train contact tracers how to use that data and then build a better model here in the city. How long will we have access to that once so much is out of the community?
I do not know. I will tell you that in my conversations with Governor Cuomo, the partnership is a partnership. We're friends. They want me to get rid of us. This is an opportunity for us to partner on other things. And so I suspect that our friendship will continue. And, again, it's good to have friends. And we're glad that New York chose Savannah. It's a personal honor for me as well, being New York is my native home, and New York is the home of my parents and my family. So I had the opportunity to witness what occurred there, how they were able to make it happen. I was able to know from family members that we've lost, friends that we've lost, knowing the experiences of my family being scared, knowing the experiences of refrigerated trucks in front of hospitals, taking 6 to 8 weeks to bury loved ones because there's just so many people. That's not happening anymore. And so we're interested in maintaining the partnership and friendship. It helps us, and hopefully it helps them. We will hopefully be able to do what they did for us that we'll be able to help other municipalities as well to pass benevolence. That's how this thing works.
And I know it's at no cost, according to some of the representatives that spoke with yesterday, at no cost to people coming in to get tested, correct?
That's correct.
It was at no cost to the city to receive any of these resources or bits of equipment, correct?
Yeah, I mean, this stuff, well, we had trucks coming in from Houston, came in over the weekend, and then the governor brought the rest on a plane from New York that was donated by JetBlue. So, again, for us, we see corporate partnership and responsibility. And again, we see benevolence of states to cities. When it's all said and done, at the end of the day, we're the United States of America. The governor makes a very good and salient point that it's in New York's best interest to stop the spread in other places. Because the fact is, if they don't stop it in other places, it will come back to them. And so they are maybe being a little selfish in helping themselves by helping us, but in a way that makes absolute sense, and the data supports it. And I guess we're in with Emma.
Hey, you never know. Someone else might know something else. Mr. Mayor, there is, I'm sure you've seen the photo circulating on social media of you and the governor, doing the elbow tap, and a lot of people have been taking it out of context. So what is your response to that?
We messed up. I mean, yeah, we messed up. I mean, no big deal in this case. If you noticed, and for those of you who were there, this was a socially distanced event. Everyone sat 6 feet away from each other. For the duration of the event, everyone wore a mask. When I was speaking, I took my mask off. When I was not speaking, I put the mask on. When it was over, I stood up to make my presentation to the governor, and in the moment, gave our presentations, then he gave a presentation, and then the infamous bump occurred. Without me realizing that my mask was on the table, and where he did not realize his mask was on the table. So we're human. We made a mistake. And I mean, I think for people who want to take the significance of that entire day, the significance of this massive donation, the significance of this wonderful friendship and partnership, and want to delineate it to a picture, I think they need other stuff to do. The fact of the matter was, I know that I was COVID-free. The governor knows that he was COVID-free. Again, we should have wore our mask. And you know what the interesting thing about it is? It leads back. Somebody told me last night that I should have been fined. But they don't understand. Well, first of all, the person didn't indict me, but anyway. But the point of the matter is this. In Savannah, we want people to comply. If someone did not have on their mask on the streets of Savannah, we would ask them to put on their mask. We don't fine people immediately for it because we recognize that this is a game changer. You're changing customs, you're changing practices. And in the heat of the moment, we forgot. Sue us for being human. The moment I recognized it was not on, I went back and did what I should have done in the first place. I put my mask back on. And guess what? What the governor did? He put his mask back on. And so, I'm not majoring in minor things. Yesterday was a great day for our city. And if you all choose to report on that nonsense, then so be it. I'm not entertaining it. We're good in Savannah. And I'm sorry I didn't wear my mask. I'll do better next time.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. So Sean, for real. Oh, no? I think the overwhelming and prevailing message today for me, maybe for the city manager, definitely for Team Savannah, was this. When someone has cancer, you want to show them survivors because it shows them an expectation and a belief of what they will be. And so they see what they're going to be. What was so significant for us yesterday was that we saw survivors. And so, admittedly, there are times, because unlike the state of New York, there are so many things within the city of Savannah that we do not control, but affects us every single day. Governor Cuomo, admittedly, has done some boss moves, but he's the governor of the state. He can do those things. In the city, we're subject to a county in a way, subject to a state, to a health department. Again, factors and things that we cannot control. We can't stop people or quarantine people coming into the city of Savannah. We can't necessarily control their movements while we're in the city of Savannah. So there are some things that are not necessarily comparable. But what we did see was the hope that when you follow the signs, when you work together, when you're open with the public, you keep them engaged, you keep them involved. When your business community stands with you and trusts you, even if you have to do it by mandate. They may not like it, but the reality is that they trust you enough to follow you. New York today is on stage 4. They are opening zoos. They won. And so for me, for the city manager, for Team Savannah, for our healthcare providers, for our faith community, for our citizens, if they can do it, we can do it too. They did it. We will do it too. Because we're Team Savannah. We're Savannah strong. We show that we're strong by showing Savannah love. Thank God yesterday, Savannah had major love shown to us. God bless you, and God bless the city of Savannah. See you Thursday. And let me show y'all me putting my mask before people say I didn't put on my mask. This is a new mask. So, see, the mask is on. All right? Don't follow up my foolishness. Thank you.